That is one of these lovely automobile, and finding clips for it would not hassle me one bit. The Mark V turned into a first-rate revision of the Mark V. The rounded styling was replaced by means of sharp edges and straight traces, and this generation might run from 1977 until 1979. Those have been surely one of the final of the sizable personal luxury coups. The Eldorado turned into downsized completely for 1979. Even as these have been nevertheless being bought for Ford, this worked simply because there were nevertheless human beings accessible, mainly the older crowd who desired a massive private luxury vehicle, and that they have been the only institution of humans that could manage to pay for the aspect, as they might be well over $100,000 new, especially the collector and dressmaker collection versions for 1979 each. Mark V designer has expressed his personality in his very own Mark V, the Bill Blast Edition, as sleek as a luxurious cruiser, the Pucci Edition within the chromatic resort appearance he made famous, the Cartier Edition. Mark V, understated like a diamond solitaire, the Giboni Edition, aristocratic elegant, very dressy. The indoors become superb, well geared up, and of all the motors I've researched, this stuff might have some of the maximum snug-looking seats, like the Marquis. The Mark V suits the standards of being a true Lanat, coming in at 23, 3-in or 19.2 toes. It is even longer than a present-day Escalade, with an extended wheelbase and the Wagoner L. It is also 15-in longer than the Genesis G90L. And we're only at the number 8 spot. Our 7th longest American vehicle from the 70s goes to the 1975 and 76 Buick Estate. So this era Estate became brought in 1971. However, the remaining 2 version years were longer, with the aid of a few in those percentage, the equal wheelbase, and lots of the interior functions, because the Buick Electra 225/5 and additionally featured Buick's 455 V8 that became found inside the GSX on pinnacle of that. The Degree 1 high-performance package with a high-carry camshaft, enlarged ports and valves, and twin exhaust become an alternative till 1974. When it comes to the period of this wagon, it sits at 231.50 ft, which makes it around 1 to 2 an inch longer than its Ponce and Oldsmobile counterparts. Speak me of GM's substantial wagons at the time. The rear suspension used multi-leaf springs rather than coil springs. This meant a sturdier trip that allowed for a larger payload potential in comparison to coil springs, which offer a lower payload capability, however, allow for more movement. Additionally, they featured as GM referred to as the glide-away tailgate design. The lower section glides away beneath the ground and the pinnacle window is going up into the roof. Some of you may keep in mind, but probable, not just because they did not sell nicely, but Buick nevertheless had a wagon up until 2020 as the Regal Tourex, and just for comparison's sake, these were about 3 toes shorter than the property.
1974 and 1975, Olds 98 coming in at $232,000. In this would be Oldsmobile's largest sizable car, and additionally the roomiest ever constructed way to GM's new substantial bodies. Introduced in 1971, maintain on, I take that back. They may be the biggest in terms of period, however, no longer the roomiest ever constructed by way of GM. That is going to the 90s, Caprice R-Master, Custom Cruiser, the one's massive BR bodies. The Olds 98 was their flagship model on the time. Simply for my part, an elegant searching car, specifically with the Regency bundle with the Buick Estate wagon. And now, the vintage 98, the years 1974 and 1975, stick out for one reason. They were the longest due to the fact the authorities mandated the ones 5 hour bumpers to be brought to each. The front and rear Lifestyles is filled with little bumps. However, General Motors vehicles for 1974 resist them beautifully, and of all the one-of-a-kind configurations that would be, had the 4-door tough pinnacle was the longest, the vintage 98 came trendy with the 455 Rocket V8, which got here with a chilly air induction device, accurate for 320 horsepower, made it into a 3-speed computerized HEC. Get on it. As I stated earlier, this became Oldsmobile's flagship car. At the time, they were very loaded with deluxe armrests, dual estrays, carpeting strength, windows, electricity
locks, and strength seats, and some distinct programs and trims could be brought, like a vinyl roof, vinyl indoors trim, or even Opa home windows. So this brings me to this image proven proper. Now, I wasn't around at some point of the 70s, so for those who have my query, is what become visible as extra prestigious or confirmed more wealth a Buick or an Oldsmobile? When I asked this, I'm referring to the Electra in '98, let me understand. Inside the feedback, down underneath the Chrysler, has always been designed with the idea that it have to be an automobile of integrity and beauty, introducing a totally new expression of that concept, a Chrysler with an altogether